Non-Native people in California often think of Native American history, when they think of it at all, as something that happened a long time ago and mainly on the East Coast. They may have asked themselves what happened to the Native people during the gold rush. They might wonder why Native people are still being disrespected by sports teams who use offensive stereotypes as mascots. Most non-natives probably think Native American Heritage Month is all about Thanksgiving. We're here to tell you what Native Heritage Month is actually about.
Heritage.
Memory.
Elders.
Water.
Spirit.
Theft.
Ohlone.
History. Rights.
Land.
Racism.
Decolonization.
Recognition.
Resilience.
Genocide. Survival.
The first peoples of California numbered over 1 million and spoke languages that were as different from each other as English and Chinese.
California was the most densely populated area north of Mexico with dozens of different cultures, tribes, and ways of living.
From fishing to hunting to farming-based economies with complex art and music and religious practices.
The Ohlone people have lived in the Bay Area for over 6,000 years, long before there were settlements in what is now London or Paris.
Their language is called Chichoni, which is being reviewed after years of colonial suppression.
They are members of the Confederated Villages of this chunk, which includes the Chichenyo Ohlone, Karkin Ohlone, Bay Miwok, Plains Miwok, Delta Yokut, and Nepean Patwin.
The arrival of the Spanish and then the Americans led to hundreds of years of slavery, cultural suppression, kidnapping, rape, murder, theft, and genocide. This cultural genocide and erasure is still happening.
Over the millennia, the Ohlone built massive structures that today look like hills.
These shell mounds were sacred sites for ceremonies and were burial sites for generations of Ohlone.
When the Bay Area was developed for industry, hundreds of shell mounds were demolished. The sacred sites were desecrated to build factories and other developments.
The Ohlone fight to this day to protect the remaining shell mounds. One of the oldest is near the IKEA in Emeryville.
Last year, I had a phone call that I needed to go to a zoning board meeting in Berkeley. And at that zoning board meeting in Berkeley in March on a rainy night, this developer came in with an idea of putting a 5-story building on top of the oldest shell mound in the Bay Area. The very first one, the very first village place of my ancestors, the very first place that babies cried and laughed. The very first place that we created home along the bay. We have ancestral memories. We go there and play still. We know where that place is. We know where our origin stories are and why we're supposed to be there. It is one of the most sacred places in the Bay Area, even though it's covered by asphalt. We need to go before the city council and said, this is not going to happen. Not on our watch. And I rely on all of us to be that voice together. As one voice coming forth to say, we can save the West Berkeley Shell Mound. We can save that place so that all of our ancestors will be proud of us.
This struggle is not far away from SRB.
In 2009, while building the new gym, the remains of dozens of Native peoples were discovered. The remains and artifacts were removed and construction resumed.
In an effort at reconciliation of this act of desecration, SRV Ethnic Studies and leadership reached out to Karina Gould, the spokesperson of the Lisjan Nation and co-founder of the Sogorea Te Land Trust.
At our meeting, Karina told us how the Lisjan collaborated with the Berkeley Rep Theater to create a visual land acknowledgement.
The girl in the mural is Karina's granddaughter, and the paintings represent the past, present, and future of the Ohlone.
We are currently planning on creating a living land acknowledgement of native plants that are sacred to the Ohlone in the swells outside of the building.
There are also plans to install Ohlone artwork.
And writing in Chichoni.
This will be an opportunity for healing, not just for the Ohlone, but for the entire SRB community.
We acknowledge that the land we are on is the ancestral, unceded land of the Ohlone people. As guests on this land, we pledge to show respect to the land and to the indigenous people of this land who live and thrive in our community.
Use these QR codes to learn more about how you can get involved.
If you want to learn even more, follow us on Instagram.
Join the club.
Take the ethnic studies class next year.
Oof.